Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Over There, a Biden administration letter, and what it means under various interpretations. The letter itself is crystal clear, but the interpretations of deeper meaning are all over the place. And the various different interpretations are kind of siloed off in different groups, to the point that you might not hear about them all unless you're looking. Multiple interpretations of it can be true at once, so they're worth knowing about even if you already have your own. So what we're going to do is go over the letter and then run through the interpretations. Okay, so a letter dated October 13th from the U.S. to Israel has surfaced. The short version of the letter is that the U.S. is telling Israel it has 30 days to fix the humanitarian situation in northern Gaza or lose at least some military aid. The longer version is that the U.S. outlined some pretty specific requirements, going as far as to specify the number of humanitarian trucks to be allowed in daily and the crossings to be open. The letter is signed by both the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Defense. For those who have missed the updates because they didn't really fall into the foreign policy aspects that we cover, there's been a consistent up and down with the food situation in Gaza the whole time. After some U.S. pressure a while back, it got a little bit better, but still not good. Then it took a turn for the worse. That's led to the current situation. Over on the other channel, on The Roads Not Taken, we've covered how the relationship between Biden and Netanyahu has gone from bad to worse as well. And that may factor into this. Okay, so let's go through the different reads on this, dividing up the foreign policy and domestic political considerations. And starting with foreign policy. The obvious cynical view is that the administration intends to do nothing, and this is just creating a paper trail to say they tried. Another read is that it's exactly what it says. That's supported by the timeline. 30 days puts it after the U.S. election. Biden is a lame duck with no more political worries. He can order restrictions on military aid and face exactly zero political fallout. A third is that it's a bluff, but the U.S. wants Netanyahu to believe it's not, and therefore set the deadline at a point where Biden could act without political implications. A fourth is that the U.S. doesn't care about Gaza at all, or it's at most a minor priority. But this is a ready-made method to put pressure on Israel to turn the temperature down across the region. The idea is that Netanyahu will be less willing to turn the temperature up if he doesn't know if they'll be getting continued arms shipments. All of these, except the first, need to be taken with the knowledge that at the same time as the letter, the U.S. committed to put the THAAD system and U.S. troops in Israel to provide air defense. Meaning, regardless of any of the above, the U.S. wants to maintain its relationship with Israel, even if the U.S. would really like somebody other than Netanyahu to be in charge over there. Now, for the domestic political reads. One is that they aren't going to act, but want to seem like they will to help assure those who are upset over Gaza. Another is that they absolutely are going to act, but want to wait until after the election so they don't upset those on the Israeli side. The U.S. agreeing to provide air defense could also be read to support this. Still another is that Biden is even more upset with Netanyahu than reporting suggests, and that this is his way of creating domestic political pressure on Netanyahu, and maybe even acting. This read is literally, it's personal. Those are the conflicting reads from people with long track records of knowing what they're talking about. With this much disagreement, it's safe to assume at this point that the move hasn't been telegraphed to the point where anybody is sure. That includes Netanyahu, which may actually be what the U.S. wants. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.